fine. A very good evening to all of you. So,
Good evening, ma'am. Good evening.
yeah. So today is the last class of your anatomy and physiology sessions. So precautions while practicing yoga is today's topic. Along with this, we'll be just glancing through few MCQs so that whatever written test you have, it will be easy. You get an idea about how the questions will be.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Yeah. Precautions while practicing yoga. That should be before you start the practice, during the practice, and after the practice. So precautions before the practice, what do you think you should be precautious about? You can either type or unmute yourself and answer. Assuming you want to do yoga now, so what is that you would think for?
Empty stomach.
Very good, very good. Empty stomach. Next. Important thing to be empty stomach. Any other thing that you would think of? Okay, fine. So let's see what we would think of before starting the practice. Okay. Okay. So cleanliness, shaucha, Acharya tells, shaucha. So shaucha here does not mean just about the place or the hall. It does not only tell about the yoga hall, but also shaucha refers to shaucha in the body, in the sharira and manas. Shaucha in the sharira and manas. So here shaucha refers to cleanliness with respect to the yoga hall and the yoga mat. Next, cleanliness with respect to the body. Next, cleanliness with respect to the mind. Okay. So the place where we are going to do yoga should be clean so that you have a conducive atmosphere to practice yoga. Next, in the body, you have to be healthy. You have to be healthy so that you are in a proper mindset to do yoga. Assume you are suffering from fever and ask you to do yoga. You will not be in a position to do yoga. Mind. If your subconscious mind is involved in thinking of something, you're involved in some thoughts, then again you will not be able to concentrate on the practices that are being taught or that you're supposed to perform. So cleanliness not only refers to the yoga hall and mat and the clothes, but refers to the body and the mind. So hygiene refers to not only the physical state, but also physically the body, and also mentally the mind has to be free from thoughts. Next, what does Lord Sri Krishna tell in Bhagavad Gita about the place where we are going to practice yoga? Shuchau deshe pratisthapya sthiram asanam chaila arjuna kusha. Shuchau deshe pratisthapya sthiram. So the place where you're going to do the yoga practice has to be clean. So this is with respect to cleanliness of that particular place. Sthiram asanam atmanaha. Sthiram asanam. You are going to start your practice there. Okay. Atmanaha. You have to be involved there mentally. Nati uchritam, nati nicham. It should not be elevated, nor it should be inclined. Neither elevated nor inclined. And materials, what he tells is Chaila Ajina Kusha Uttaram. Chaila refers to the cotton fabric. Ajina refers to the deer skin. Kusha refers to the darba, or the mat made up of grass. The mat made up of grass. Okay. So Chaila we are able to practice by cotton mats. Ajina very difficult these days. Deer skin. If you see the great sages, whenever they are sitting, they usually sit on this deer skin. Okay, they usually sit on this deer skin. The intention during those days, the deer skin was, it was believed when they sit on this deer skin, the other animals who would come there in the search of prey or something, they would not come and disturb these people. Like, I don't know, I think the deer skin acted as some form of repellent or something. Okay, kusha. Kusha, we are able to practice. Take out, or the mats made up of grass are still available. So Chaila and Kusha are available these days. And he says Chaila Ajina Kusha Uttaram. So first preference he gives to the mat made of grass. Second preference he gives to the deer skin. Third preference he gives to the cotton cloth. Current days we can take mats made up of cotton cloth and mats made up of the grass. Okay. Next, तत्र एकग्रं मनः कृत्वा यथाचित् इन्द्रियाक्रियाः उपविश्य आसने युञ्ज्यात् योगम् आत्मविशुद्धये. Tatra ekagram manaha. So mind has to be concentrated at one particular point. Okay, not scattered here and there, not worried about some thoughts or some negative affirmations or something that is sorrowful. Kurtva yatachit indriya kriya. So we have pancha indriyas. All the pancha indriyas have to be concentrated or focusing on one particular thing rather than, you're practicing yoga or you're in a state of meditation and you're thinking, yes, I'm nicely able to hear the sounds of the vehicles and you're able to perceive some smell, and you're in the subconscious level, you're thinking of screaming at somebody or just finishing the session and go and thrash the guy who made you meet with an accident before you enter the class, etc. So pancha indriyas, five pancha gnanendriyas, that is the eyes, ears, nose, mouth, and skin. These have to be devoid of their senses. Okay. Upavishya asane. Sit on the asana. That's the yoga mat. Yunjyat yogam atma vishuddhaye. With the clarity of the manas and atma, you should start the yoga practice. So hope that this is clear, right? Shuchau deshe, clean place. Pratishtapya stiram, be seated. Asanam atmanaha, wholeheartedly or focused. Na ati uchritam, not elevated nor inclined. Materials used: Chaila Ajina Kusha, cotton cloth, Ajina deer skin, Kusha the grass, Uttaram. He gives preference to the Kusha grass much. Next, Tatra Ekagram Manha Kritva. Be focused, be concentrated on one particular thing. Yatachit Indriya Kriya. Avoid or withdraw the sense organs from their senses. Upavishya Asane. Please be seated on the asana. Yunjat Yogam Atma Vishuddhaye. With the purity of the mind and soul, practice yoga. Next, serene atmosphere. Again, repetitions a little. A silent atmosphere is a basic requirement for practicing yoga so that there is no diversions. The room should be airy as well. So, proper ventilation is must. Light music, preferably chants such as Omkara. Silence and tranquility will help you concentrate on your asanas and breathing, thus rendering you with the ability to listen and acknowledge your body's needs in a very satisfactory way. Okay, so when there is silence and tranquility, we are able to focus, we are able to concentrate on one particular thing, and we're able to look into the needs of the body. That's the very reason whenever we are having food, whenever we are eating our meals, we are not supposed to eat meals looking at the TV, because your attention is diverted to the TV so much, you don't know whether you are eating too much or too less. You are able to appreciate the taste with which the food is prepared or not. You are not able to understand. Okay. And whatever you breathe, you should be able to keep a track of that. Okay. And as we said, we need a serene and tranquil atmosphere. That's the very reason we are supposed to do or practice yoga in the morning. Okay. Why? Because if you, okay, so I'll just change the slide. So all of you can tell me, why are we supposed to practice yoga in the morning? Why should we practice yoga in the morning?
Your oxygen. Morning.
Very good, very good, very good. Yeah, so there is good amount of oxygen in the morning. Climate is good, peaceful. Yes. So current says climate is good and peaceful. Why? Because we are devoid of sounds. Devoid of sounds. And yeah, climate is pleasant in the morning and it is rich with oxygen. We are free from noise pollution and also air pollution to some extent. And hence yoga is preferred to be done in the morning hours. And anything other than this, both are rightly told. Anything other than this.
Body is light, ma'am, because we don't eat too much in the morning time.
Okay, body is light. Fine. Anything else? How is your mood in the mornings? As soon as you're woken up from the bed, assuming you have had a good sleep. Kapha time best for Vyayama. Okay, Karan, that's true. See, assuming you have had a good
फ्रेश होते
sleep,
हैं
if you
सोते
have,
उठते, हाँ मॉर्निंग में, हाँ फ्रेश होते हैं ना मैम, इसीलिए तो मतलब अच्छे से योग कर पाते हैं.
yes. So she said fresh, we are fresh. So when you are fresh there, you are mentally and physically both fresh. You are devoid of thoughts. Assuming you are supposed to do yoga in the night, the whole day's tension, you will, with that same tension, you will be performing yoga or whatever thoughts have been gone throughout the day. You will be thinking of all that. You will be doing yoga. But अगर आपका नींद अच्छा हुआ है previous night और आप उठते हैं तो you are free from thoughts in the morning. That's also very important for Shauch of the Manas. Yes, so all that is here. Yoga should be done on empty stomach. One of your friends rightly told. Okay, so this yoga has to be done on empty stomach. I will give you an understanding. See, we studied in digestive system कि हम जब आहार खाते हैं तो from the oral cavity, yeah, please somebody can explain me the parts of digestive system. I want it till large intestine. From the mouth till large intestine. कोई बता सकते तो बता दीजिए. Karan,
Oral cavity,
very
esophagus,
good.
stomach, duodenum, large intestine, and anus.
Okay, good. So Karan also has answered. Yes, from mouth it goes to esophagus, from esophagus to stomach, stomach to small intestine, then to large intestine. So see, we always tell if we have taken a light meal, then we need to do yoga after 2 hours. If it's a heavy meal, after 3 to 4 hours. So why is it? When we consume some, हम जब बाहर खाते हैं, तो it takes at least 3 hours for the food or any substance to move from the stomach to the lower GI, that is to the large intestine. To move to the large intestine, it takes 3 hours. That is the reason you are supposed to give a gap of 3 hours. When it is light food, it is propelled faster. So 2 hours. When it is heavy food, takes longer time. 4 hours roughly. 3 hours you can keep it. So the reason your stomach, the organ stomach, what you studied in gastrointestinal tract, that organ stomach will be freed from food within 3 hours. Hence, you're supposed to do yoga after 3 hours after consumption of a meal. Okay, a light meal, assuming you have eaten just kande ki poha, etc. 2 hours, if you have eaten some good meal, rice, chapati, sabji, etc. So give at least a 3 hours break and then perform yoga. Because within 3 hours, whatever you have consumed has moved to the next part of the body. From the before upper GI, that is from the stomach, it has moved to the lower GI, moved up to the sigmoid colon, etc. Okay, next, if we have consumed food and it's there in the stomach itself, the organ stomach, then we may feel a little uncomfortable while doing asanas that have forward bending, like Padahastasana, etc. Asanas, it is a little difficult for us to do because our stomach is being loaded. And if we actually do yogasanas in after consuming food, then we may not be able to perform the poses, or we may not be able to yield good results after performing yoga. We may not get the desired results, and we may end up in certain complications. It may be you may have stomach pain, you may have vomiting, or you may have simply a discomfort in the abdomen. Okay, bladder and bowel should be empty before starting yoga practices. Preferably as a visit washroom, or after you have visited washroom only, perform the yoga asanas. How should be a yoga mat? Again, we read in that. Okay, yoga mat should be preferably of cotton. I say cotton. Why should it be of cotton? We are getting many other materials of yoga mats. Why should it be a cotton yoga mat? I would prefer for a cotton yoga mat. Why is it?
Sweat proof.
Yes, very good. It helps in absorbing. It helps in absorbing the sweat. It has to help in absorbing the sweat. Okay. So yoga mat has to be made through cotton. And next, so this cotton also will help as anti-skid. It will prevent you from skidding. Okay. So you are supposed to do it on the mat, and which will also act as anti-skid. Next, the floor. Many times we don't recommend to perform yoga on the floor itself. Why? The temperature of the floor, which we may not be able to bear, assuming it may be either cold or either hot, whatever. So the temperature of the floor will depend on the material of the floor and also depend on the surrounding temperature. Okay. If it is raining outside, the flooring may tend to become cool. If it is hot outside, the flooring may tend to become hot. So to avoid these extremes of temperature, it is better to do yoga with yoga mat rather than just simply on the floor. You might have observed in any yoga class, you're not sitting directly on the floor. You are doing on yoga mat. It is for these reasons. Yes, again, cotton clothes, same. There should be light and comfortable cotton clothes. Okay, so if we are wearing light, preferably a light colors, because if you wear some dark colors, again, it's not pleasing to the eyes. That reason. And comfortable cotton clothes, so that they permit in easy movement of poses, or they help you attain postures easily. And again, it should be cotton because it helps in absorbing the sweat. I would seriously recommend not to use skin tight clothes for the practice of yogasana. Okay, it's my personal advice not to wear skin tight clothing, like the track pants and the t-shirts. Not recommended. You want to wear track pants, wear loose track pants. Okay, your skin has to breathe. Your skin has to breathe. See, he says yoga should not be performed in state of exhaustion, when you're tired, illness, when you're suffering from certain ailments, any diseases, in a hurry or in acute stress. Should not perform yoga in a hurry. Like, you have some session, so you have a next session you need to attend. So it doesn't mean you are supposed to do 12 Surya Namaskaras, fatafat you do 12 Surya Namaskaras and rush. No. Okay. And acute stress condition. You have undergone some minor trauma or a major trauma mentally. So do not perform yoga in that conditions. If you are suffering from certain ailments, which are chronic diseases or pain or cardiac problems, you are supposed to consult a yoga therapist or a physician and then perform yoga. And always an expert's advice is required for doing yoga during pregnancy and during menstruation. For doing yoga during pregnancy and menstruation. Next, during the practice, how do you always begin the session when you're practicing the yoga? With what do you start the session? Assuming now after I finish my class, आप लोग yoga करने वाले हो, तो how will you start the class?
With warm-up exercise, stretching.
Okay, good. Yeah, warming up exercise. Before warm up, do you do something? Sukshma. Yeah. Your friend also says Sukshma Vyayama. Okay. Can somebody unmute and tell me, assuming you're going to do a 45 minutes yoga session, how do you do it?
Focus on
Yes,
breathing,
warm up.
then warm up.
Hmm.
So we start with prayers, then warm up, then yogasana, then pranayama and savasana. Savasana, then pranayama.
Preferably do pranayama and then do shavasana. Okay, after shavasana, it should end with Shanti mantra only. Okay. Yeah, what series you told is correct. It's correct. Now you told you start with prayer. Why do you start with prayer? It's right that you start with the prayer. See, just think of the session. Just think of the session. I just started off saying that today will be last class of anatomy and physiology, and it is about the precautions during the practice of yoga. Okay, this is how I started the class. If I had started the class with chanting of Om thrice, okay, assuming I had a good voice and I started the class with chanting the Om thrice, and all of you also chanted it thrice, what would be your state of mind?
Focus.
Yeah, you would be focused and kind of, mental relaxation, etc. Yes, so practicing sessions should always start with a prayer so that you have a relaxed state of mind and a focused state of mind. Okay, so always begin the classes, yoga sessions with the omkara, etc., any sorts of prayers. Okay, so are we supposed to do yoga fast or in a um, steady phase which suits one individual?
Steady pace.
In a steady phase. When is that? Yeah, that's correct. When is that we are supposed to do, or we are going to tell somebody to do a fast yoga? When is that? Anybody here who is doing therapeutic yogas? Okay. In conditions of obesity, attention deficit hyperactivity disorders, in them we do something called as a power yoga. Okay, current says kapha body types. Kapha body types, obesity, dyslipidemia, attention deficit hyperactive disorder. In all these people, we do, or yoga should be vigorous yoga. Why? This will make them, tired, and at the end they should sleep off. Okay, that will actually, if it is obese people, that will actually metabolize the fat which is present in the body. अगर वो बच्चा है ADHD का है, then he has to be tired, or else he will be notorious in the session. And doing such a heavy workout will help him in diverting his energy. Okay, so usually we do a steady phase yoga, but when it comes to certain conditions like this, so हमें yoga has to be fast. Okay. So, and we know about Puraka, Kumbhaka, and Rechaka. Puraka, Kumbhaka, Rechaka has to be done only after you have mastered. Okay, you should not be controlling the breath unless you are trained properly. Okay, and to do yoga, you have to plan a particular time. You have to plan a particular time so that it forms a part of your schedule. So that it forms a part of your schedule. Okay. Breathing should be always through the nostrils or the mouth. How the breathing should be? Should it be through the nostrils or the mouth?
Should be nostril.
Yes, should be nostrils unless otherwise instructed, like in case of some dog breathing, etc. Okay, or some lion breathing, I think. Okay, breathing should always be through the nostrils unless instructed otherwise. For instance, pranayama can be started with a less duration initially and can be later increased gradually depending on one's capacity to concentrate. Yes. So pranayama, always your inhalation. If inhalation is 1, exhalation has to be 2. Like you are inhaling for 4 seconds, you have to exhale for 8 seconds. So this period can be gradually increased. Inhalation 8 seconds and exhalation 16 seconds. So to come to this 8 is to 16 from 4 is to 8, you need some time. So in the initial phase, you cannot do it. Okay. So gradually you can increase the time period. Okay. For inhalations and exhalations. Do not hold body tightly or jerk the body at any point of time. Do not hold the body. So your muscles have to be relaxed. Okay. So assuming you're doing some asanas like Padahastasana, yeah, Ushtrasana. Okay, you may not be able to attain that pose. You may not be able to attain that pose easily, whereas your other friend may be able to do. But over a period of time, with practice, you will be able to attain the particular pose. It may be just due to stiffness of muscles that while practicing yoga, you tend to get that particular capacity to stretch. And all the practices that you do should be rhythmically, slowly, and without any jerks. Should be rhythmically, slowly, and without any jerks. And no undue strain. I remember my yoga teacher who always told me that we are attaining some posture. At the end of attaining the posture, he always told, smile on your face. He always told us, smile on your face. So no undue strain should be felt in the facial muscles, okay, ear and eyes, or in breathing during the practices. So that does not mean that you are doing it just for the sake of doing. Enjoy that particular posture. Assuming you are doing one form of stretch, you will feel the strain or you will feel the pull in those muscles. Just enjoy that particular state. Enjoy that position what you have adopted. Enjoy what the changes that are happening in your muscles and tendons. Okay, so you need to be in the final posture with a grace on the face or with a smile on the face. Okay, and whenever you're performing yoga, you should be, again it is repeated, you're supposed to be free from any tension or any stress. Okay, you're supposed to be from any tension or stress, unless you have come to do yoga for some stress or to forget some stress. Okay, so you have come to practice yoga just to come out of some major trauma which has happened in your life. Yes, so there is a trainer who gives you therapeutic yoga, so she will see to it that she gives you series of practices which will help you come out of that particular situation. So at least when you're doing yoga, keep those thoughts freezed so that you are able to practice and get the best of benefits. Yes, see, during the practice, avoid unnecessary talk. So this talk, maybe your phone call comes, your phone vibrates, or it may be that when we are doing a group sessions, okay, one person is unable to attend the pose and then he laughs or he mimics, okay, you tend to answer. So there should not be unnecessary talking or conversations during the practice of yoga. See, just by simply performing the yoga physically will again not have much impact, but you have to be even mentally involved in during that particular asana so that you get the best of benefit. So you're supposed to do physically and mentally so that you get the best of benefit from yoga. Can somebody tell me uh, what is the definition of health as per WHO? Only if you know. If you don't know, you can type no. WHO's definition of health, or people who have attended Ayurveda class, definition of swastha.
I think those are physically and mentally fit. They are healthy.
Yeah. Yes, yes. So your friend has told in a nutshell, health is a state of physical, mental, and social well-being, not merely an absence of disease or infirmity. So he defines, WHO defines health as a state of physical, mental, and social well-being. So you have to be physically, mentally, and socially. So just keeping aside social part, you have to be physically and mentally healthy. Okay, a person looks very beautiful, carries himself very well, but mentally he's not at all stable. Okay, he has undergone some major trauma in the life. Okay, again, state of physical, mental, emotional, psychological, and spiritual well-being, and not just the absence of disease. Yeah, right. So it is not only about the physical body. It's not that you are not having any scars on the face, no wounds on the body, etc. Not that. Doesn't mean your CT scan, MRI, everything is normal. Other than your physical condition, mentally also you are supposed to be free. When you're involving the physical body and the mental body and performing the yoga, believe me, you get the best at the most benefits of yoga. Okay, so whenever you want to attain certain postures, you can initially keep your eyes open and do the postures. Gradually, when you have got a command on yourself for practicing yoga, then you can tend to close your eyes and perform that particular asana. And whenever we are performing yoga, it's not that you do 3 to 4 sessions of yoga and then आपको benefit मिल गया उससे, नहीं. आपको long duration तक करना है, persistent. You have to be persistent. Continuity रहनी चाहिए and regular रहना चाहिए. So when you are regularly doing yoga, then that's the time you can think of certain benefits of yoga. It may be simple in the form of the stretching of muscles so that you come into certain posture, or it may be just to come to a calm state of mind. जैसे कि कोई है यहाँ पे कि जिसे जल्दी गुस्सा आता है, तो it overcomes why the practice of yoga? क्योंकि why yoga, we have studied that it activates the parasympathetic nervous system. जब वो parasympathetic nervous system को activate करता है, then the functions of the body tend to slow down. It may be the response rate, the heart rate, etc. They tend to reduce. So किसी को गुस्सा कंट्रोल करना है तो आप योगा करो, किसी को abdominal fat reduce करना है तो आप योगा करो, किसी को कंसंट्रेशन नहीं होता है तो आप फिर से वहां पे योगा करो. सो फॉर ऑल दीज योगा इज द आंसर. बट उसके लिए दो चीज चाहिए कि आप रेगुलर करो एंड यू हैव टू बी परसिस्टेंट कि आपने आज किया और कल नहीं करते हो. नहीं, यू हैव टू बी persistent in what you do. Then that will surely give you the best of benefits what one is supposed to get through the practice of yoga. And आप जब योगासना करते हो डजंट मीन कि आपके पार्टनर या आपके साथ जो योगा कर रहे हो उनके हिसाब से आप compete करो. No, you may be having a flexibility in forward bending, okay, but the other person may have flexibility in the core muscles, that's the abdominal muscles. Okay, so yes, or the flexibility of a person for yogasanas varies from one person to another person. So you should not get disheartened कि रामदेव बाबा वो तो नवली कितना अच्छा करते हैं तो हमें करना नहीं आता. So you don't have to be disheartened comparing yourself to someone else. You may be able to do nowli like Ramdev Baba provided you practice. And for every yoga asanas or kriyas, there are certain indications and contraindications. Those need to be kept in mind while practicing yoga. Certain indications, contraindications are there. You need to keep them in mind while practicing yoga. When you're doing Shirshasana is contraindicated in hypertensive patients. Shirsasana is contraindicated in hypertensive patients. Kapalbhati is contraindicated in hypertensive patients. Okay, Kapalbhati is contraindicated in patients who have recently undergone hernia. Kapalbhati is contraindicated in or during menstruation. Forward bending is contraindicated during menstruation. And again, तो pregnancy हमने ले लिया तो it has many contraindications. So with respect to each asana, there are certain indications and contraindications. तो वो हमें याद रख के practice करना चाहिए. Any asana you need to keep in mind and then only do. Yes, your friend has told me that yoga sessions have to end with deep relaxation techniques or some form of relaxation. So yoga session should end with meditation or deep silence or Shanti Pata. So you're going to end the session with deep relaxation technique or instant relaxation technique or quick relaxation technique, anything, IRT, QRT or DRT, and end it with Shanti Mantra. End the session with Shanti Mantra. Now, again, I've just taken this since many women are here and many women practice yoga. Women should preferably not practice asanas during this time, but take rest. During menstruation, you're not supposed to do asanas. But again, you have some exceptions wherein you can do such as some asanas. You're not supposed to do inverted postures. जैसे कि शीर्षासना. During menstruation, आपको शीर्षासना नहीं करना चाहिए. Why? Because see, if you see the menstrual flow, it is the downward flow of the blood. Okay? Menstruation की blood की flow जब हम देखते हैं तो it is downward flow. Like assuming head is the top part and the anus is the down part. So it is moving downwards. The flow of blood is downwards. So by doing Shirshasana, we are totally reversing the direction of the blood flow. So that is contraindicated. That is contraindicated. See, whenever we are taking our breathing, etc., whenever we are inhaling, exhaling, it is in par or in accordance with the respiratory system. अगर आप प्राणायाम में जो inhaling कर रहे हो तो आपका lungs expand हो रहा है and diaphragm also is getting contracted. See, that is normalcy. अगर प्राणायाम को साइड में रखो, कोई पर्सन नॉर्मल रेस्पायर कर रहा है, so it is that whenever he inhales, the lungs are expanding so that they take in more air. We are not going against the rule of or against the creation of the nature. Okay, so see here also menstruation की flow जो होती है वो ऊपर से नीचे होती है. तो हम शीर्षासना या ऐसे inverted poses करने से उसका गति उल्टा होता है. तो हमें ऐसे poses नहीं करना चाहिए. And you are not supposed to do any poses wherein the pelvis is higher than the head. Whereas the pelvis is higher than the head. It may be postures like halasana. It may be postures like halasana. There also you're not supposed to do. You're not supposed to do inverted postures and postures where pelvis is above the head, where pelvis is above the head. And postures like Kapalbhati or the asanas like kriyas like Kapalbhati also should not be done, because you are unduly contracting and releasing abdomen. And also kriya like Noli, you are moving the rectus abdomini. तो ये नहीं करना चाहिए आपको, क्योंकि you are putting pressure over the abdomen. This may tend to increase the bleeding. This may tend to increase the bleeding. And at this point, you are also not supposed to do Surya Bhedi Pranayama. You're also not supposed to do Surya Bhedi Pranayama. See, many a times we tell to patients of obesity ki Surya Bhedi Pranayama 21 times. Okay, 21 times ka Surya Bhedi Pranayama, we call it as one cycle. Like this, you do more number of cycles, you tend to lose more weight. That is what we advise. But again, Surya Bhedi Pranayama should not be done during that kind of 21 cycles ka one round. Let's say 5 rounds, 6 rounds should not be done during menstruation. Again, this may tend to have increased bleeding. This may tend to have increased bleeding. Vice versa, what you can understand is when you're having a heavy bleeding, you do Chandra Bhedi Pranayama, that will help in reducing the flow. That will help in reducing the flow. Okay, now assuming you are there in the session and you have to do some yoga, what you can do is, you can do some simple Sukshma Vayama, or you can do other some normal Nadi Shuddhi Pranayama, like inhale through right, exhale through left, inhale through right, all that. That you can do simple Nadi Shuddhi Pranayama, okay? And certain movements of your Sukshma Vayama, etc. can be done. And you can also do DRT. Easy forward movement can be practiced in this period. Easy. Again, you are not putting undue pressure. Pada Hastasana doesn't mean you need to touch your fingers to the toes. No. Okay. As much as you are comfortable only, you are supposed to do during menstruation. Now, is this clear?
Yes.
Next, whenever you do asanas, previous session also somewhere I have mentioned, you are supposed to do complementary asanas. When you're doing Pada Hastasana, its complementary is Ardha Chakrasana. If you do Ardha Chakrasana, do Pada Hastasana. If you are doing any asana to your right side, then do the same asana when you are turning to the left. Okay, asanas with respect to the side bends or etc. Like asanas like Vakrasana, which we are indicating in diabetes mellitus. So Vakrasana you're doing on one side, do it also on other side. Don't just do it one side and leave. Okay. For these particular asanas like Padhastasana, Ardha Chakrasana also, you have to do complementary asanas, because Padahastasana mein you are stretching the muscles of the back and contracting the muscles of the abdomen. Again, vice versa is happening in Ardha Chakrasana. Abdominal muscles are stretching, back muscles are contracting. So there is contraction and relaxation of both the muscles. Hence, you are supposed to do complementary asanas. Do not just do one particular asana. Now, what are we supposed to do after practice? Okay. What do we do after practice? Assuming you have ended the session with Shanti Mantra, तो आपको क्या करना चाहिए?
मैम Savasana.
Okay, Shavasana खत्म हुआ और आपका शांति मंत्र भी हुआ. शवासन के बाद शांति मंत्र हुआ. You have left the yoga hall.
उसके बाद लंच या ब्रेकफास्ट लेना चाहिए.
हाँ, कितने मिनट्स के बाद आप ब्रेकफास्ट लोगे?
30 minutes.
Yeah. So yeah, 30 minutes to 45 minutes or 20 to 45 minutes is ideal. Okay. And bath may be taken only after 20 to 30 minutes of practice. Food may be consumed 20 to 30 minutes after practice. Okay. Then after yoga, it should not so happen that कि Sunday आप free हो तो yoga करने के बाद आप कहीं cricket खेलने जाओगे या immediately आपको swimming जाना है या आपको jogging जाना है. No. Avoid these because by doing yoga already you have activated your system, and again you would be further straining by doing any form of exercises. It may be weightlifting, gymnastics, jogging, tennis, swimming, etc., anything. So if you want to do those activities, just take 30 to 45 minutes gap. 30 to 45 minutes gap so that your body comes back to its normalcy. Then you can start another activity. Okay. So this completes the sessions of precautions before, during, and after yoga practice. Any questions here? Okay. If no questions, I'm happy. I can ask you many more questions.
मैम प्रेगनेंसी में कौन से प्राणायाम करने चाहिए?
Pregnancy, yeah. See, pregnancy, preferably, see, pregnancy we divide it into 3 trimesters. First trimester, second trimester, third trimester. First trimester is having, see, 9 months की pregnancy होती है, तो each trimester में हम 3 months डालते हैं. जैसे कि सेमेस्टर आपका इंजीनियरिंग में होता है, तो ट्राइमेस्टर 3 मंथ का होता है. फर्स्ट 3, 4th to 6th, 7th to 9th. ऐसे we divide it in 3 trimesters. Preferably, you can do this Nadi Shuddhi Pranayama. Okay, that is inhaling through left, exhaling through right, inhale through right, exhale through left. आप कर सकते हैं, ठीक है? And you can go for deep relaxation technique. Next, and if you want to do any asanas, we recommend it only from the second and third trimester. We recommend it only during the second and third trimesters. And you are supposed to do all the asanas only under the guidance of a yoga practitioner, and that too all simple asanas. Simple asanas. Okay, you can't do Kapalbhati, etc. Okay, like
शवासना कर सकते हैं.
Shavasana you can do, but there, no, in Shavasana you are not sleeping in supine posture. You are not sleeping in supine posture. You are sleeping in lateral position.
Okay.
Okay, you are sleeping in left lateral or right lateral, whichever suits the pregnant lady. तो आप lateral position में कर सकते हो.
Okay.
Okay,
Thank you.
and you are going to avoid the forward bends. You are going to avoid forward bends. You are going to avoid certain jerks. Okay, so that you don't cause any problem. And we recommend during pregnancy, we recommend many a times pranayama and relaxation techniques rather than asanas proper.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, shall we move on to MCQs?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Bones, the dash number of bones are present in the body.
206. We need to write or we can tell the answer.
Both are okay.
Okay.
Yeah, so I got 2 correct answers, 2 not 6. Which is the strongest and longest bone?
Femur. Yes, femur.
Femur. So everybody goes ahead with Karan's answer. Karan, take some time and answer. Yeah, femur is the right answer. While doing Nauli, which muscles of the body are being used? Quadriceps, hamstring, abdominal,
Hamstring muscles.
Yeah, one of them says hamstring.
Abdominal
Anybody
muscles.
else? So one says abdominal. What does Karan say? Abdominal. Yeah, the right answer is abdominal muscles. During inhalation, chest expands and diaphragm contracts. Is it true or false?
True.
True.
Okay, the right answer is true. We have dash number of atria and dash number of ventricles present in human heart.
2, ma'am.
Number 2.
Number 2, 2 atria, 2 ventricles present in the human heart. Left ventricle pumps blood to all parts of the body. True or false?
True, ma'am.
True. Digestive system starts with the oral cavity and ends with the rectum, anus, sigmoid colon, or descending colon.
Anus.
Anus.
Anus. Nephron is the functional unit of respiratory system, nervous system, urinary system, cardiovascular system.
Urinary.
Right. Which is the largest organ present in the human body? Lung, liver, skin, aorta.
Liver.
Skin, yeah.
Skin is the right answer. When during the session also I told you, many people consider liver as the largest organ, is the largest gland. Liver is the largest gland, skin is the largest organ.
Okay, ma'am.
Dash protects the body from burns, skin, lungs, heart, kidney.
Skin.
Skin.
Skin. Deep relaxation technique dash the blood pressure. It increases the blood pressure or decreases the blood pressure.
Decrease.
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 Correct. Thank you. So any questions you want me to ask now?
एग्जाम में एमसीक्यू होंगे मैम?
Yeah, you will get MCQs, and I think few you may get a true or false, and few fill in the blanks.
Okay.
Hmm? You will be writing it via Google form, I think. So almost everybody has answered all the answers correctly.
Ma'am, these are so very
Okay.
simple, no?
Which is the organ which gets first
How
pure
test will be, I
oxygenated?
don't know.
Which is the organ which gets first oxygenated blood? Karan, answer late.
मैम एक बार क्वेश्चन रिपीट कर दीजिए प्लीज.
Which is the organ which gets oxygenated blood first, or which receives oxygenated blood first?
लीवर.
No.
लंग्स.
No. Lungs तो वो oxygenate करता है blood को. Oxygenate करके it sends to some other organ. Karan, what's your answer?
Heart.
Yeah. Yes, right answer is heart. What is IV?
Liver, I think.
Okay, we'll assume something. Okay. Now, with respect to
Left
left ventricle, oh my God, he's very specific. It's left atria. Then it comes to ventricle. From ventricle, it is pushed to via aorta. So it is through left atria. Left atria gets oxygenated blood first, not ventricle. Left atria, then left ventricle. Okay, so left atria gets oxygenated blood first. Okay. Whenever there is a scar formed on the body, so it is injury to which layer of the skin? Assuming there is a scar formed on the skin, it may be any form of scar on the skin. So if there is a scar present on the skin, it is which layer of the skin?
Second layer.
Which is that? Correct. Second layer is correct. Correct. When it is injury to epidermis, only then you have the scar being formed. You have the scar being formed. Okay. Which is the functional unit of respiratory system?
Lungs.
Functional unit of respiratory system. It has one small part, many small parts, which help in exchange of gases. Yes, right answer is alveoli.
Alveoli.
Correct. Correct. Alveoli is the right answer. Which is the functional unit of nervous system?
Urine.
Can you spell it?
Ma'am, can you repeat the question, please?
Functional unit of nervous system. Yeah, so answer we have received neuron. Okay. What is the meaning of the word anatomy? Karan says structure. Anybody wants to add on something? What is the meaning of the word anatomy? In the first class, I've told you anatomy means ana is to cut and tomy is to open. So to cut and open. When we cut and open, we actually see the structures. Okay. So anatomy is to cut and open. To cut open and visualize certain parts is called as anatomy. Anatomy basically deals with the structures. So what is physiology then? Yeah, physiology deals with the or explains about the functioning of any particular system. Physiology helps or tells us about functioning of any particular system. Okay. Another question, which is the smallest bone present in the human body? You can name it or tell where it is present. Smallest bone present in the body.
Ear.
Sternum.
No, sternum is big. At least this much will be a sternum.
Ear. Can't.
Yeah, smallest bone is present in the ear. Yes, I get an image of ear also. Okay, yeah, current says stapes. It is S-T-A-P-E-S. S-T-A-P-E-S. Smallest bone present in the ear. Very good, very good. Okay. What is a cartilage? Can you tell me where cartilage is present? We said
Nose.
bone is hard. Very good, very good. Who is this?
Kanchan.
Okay. Kanchan is feeling very happy. Yeah. So, it is present in the nose, cartilage. Okay. Does every organ have a blood supply?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Every organ has a blood supply. Next question, again, these are in general. Does every organ have a nerve supply?
Yes.
Yes. Yes. Every organ has a nerve supply and has a blood supply. Okay. There is something that's present in the hair. What is it called as? Protein.
Keratin.
Very good. That's keratin, which is present in the hair. Okay. What else? Name some muscles. You can name, just take time and answer. You can better type it. Okay, it takes some time. Type the muscles that are going to be involved in Ardha Chakrasana. Type the muscles that are going to be involved in Ardha Chakrasana. Think of the asana, think of the muscles being involved. Kanchan says striated. That's correct. Which striated muscles? So it's obviously the skeletal muscles that are going to be involved. Which are those skeletal muscles?
Quadriceps.
Quadriceps. Okay.
Hamstring. I think deltoid.
Deltoid is somewhere acceptable. So when you're doing Ardha Chakrasana, your lower part remains constant. You tend to bend above your pelvis. That region you're supposed to bend back, right?
Yes.
So quadriceps, gluteus, all those come below. Yeah, pectorals, correct. Pectorals, yes, pectoral muscles are being used. Which are the muscles? Somebody had messaged abdominal muscles. Yes, we're going to stretch the abdominal muscles. We're going to stretch the pectorals muscles. We're going to stretch the or contract the trapezius. Latissimus dorsi, serratus anterior. All these are going to be involved. Just go through those images and also just go through the muscles. So that will make you a little unique. Okay. How do you explain me supine posture? How do you explain supine posture?
Lie down on stomach.
That's prone. Lying down on abdomen is prone. Lying on the back is supine. How do your palms should be? Palms should be facing the ceiling or palms should be facing the earth?
Ceiling.
Palms should be facing the ceiling. So lying down on the abdomen, palms facing the ceiling is the supine posture. Okay. Any questions that you have? No? Shall we end the class?
No, ma'am, please ask some more questions.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Assuming kidneys manufacture urine or kidneys prepare the urine. Once the kidneys have prepared the urine, it is through some tubes that it goes to the urinary bladder. Name the tubes. Just think of urinary system. We studied about two bean-shaped structures called kidneys. Through kidneys, there were two pipes which connected it to bladder. And from bladder through urethra, the urine went out. What are the names of those two pipes?
Ureterus?
Very good. So it is the ureter. It is the ureter. Good. So now another question. The ovum is prepared in the ovary of the female reproductive system. Through ovary, through the ovum from ovary travels with the help of fallopian tube and lodges itself in dash. It after it fuses with the male gamete. After it fuses with the sperm, it transplants itself or it takes shelter in some part of the female reproductive system.
Uterus.
Yes, it
Uterus.
takes it lodges or there is implantation within the uterus. There is implantation within the uterus. Can you name the parts of fallopian tube? I will tell one part. Fimbriated end. Write this down so you find the answer. One is fimbriated one end, other one is ampulla dash another part. You need to find it out. I will not tell. So if I tell, you will not do any homework. Okay, fimbriated end, ampulla, and one more. Karan knows the answer. No. Okay, it is the isthmus. It is the isthmus. Okay. What is the covering of the lung called?
Ribs.
Leakage?
Okay, yes. So rib cage protects the lungs. That's correct. Rib cage protects the lungs. Lungs has its covering, like how you cover your books. When we were small, we covered our notebooks with brown paper. So something like that, there is some layer which envelopes the lung, which envelopes the lung.
ये आपने बताया था, मुझे याद नहीं है.
Let's see if anybody can answer it. Okay, so that is pleura. That is pleura. Okay. Okay, common question. COVID-19 is affecting which system?
Respiratory.
Okay. Now, so you want me to tell you why it's affecting only respiratory system? No, COVID-19 is basically affecting respiratory system. It's basically affecting respiratory system. Okay. What else?
Ma'am, ask from the question paper, please.
Ask from the question paper. It is yet to be prepared. You tell me some system so that I can think of that. Which lung is smaller, right lung or left lung? Smaller in the sense weight. Which lung weighs less, right lung or left lung?
Right.
Why right? I'll give you a hint. Okay, right lung has 2 lobes. Okay. So I'll give you a hint. Heart is located to which part? Left or right?
Left.
Heart, left, sorry.
Heart is located to the left. So you remember there is something called as a cardiac notch in the left lung. So that cardiac notch, that part of the lung is removed, or that part of the lung is less. So it is the left lung which weighs less. Okay. Okay, yeah, coming to endocrine system, which is the gland which controls all the other endocrine glands.
Hypothalamus.
Very good. Hypothalamus is the one gland which controls all the other glands. Hypothalamus controls one particular gland first, and that in turn controls all others. Which is that?
Pituitary gland.
Very
Pituitary.
good. Hypothalamus controls pituitary. Pituitary in turn controls all the other glands. Very good. Hypothalamus, pituitary. Okay. The pituitary gland has 2 lobes, anterior lobe and posterior lobe. Which is that lobe which is big in size?
Anterior.
Anterior lobe has how many hormones? It secretes how many hormones?
6.
6. Which are those 6? Anterior lobe secretes 6. Okay. Intermediate lobe secretes how many?
2.
1. Posterior lobe secretes 2. Okay. Posterior lobe secretes 2. A thyroid gland secretes how many hormones?
Thyroid, parathyroid, and thymus. 3.
Now they are the glands present in the neck. They are the glands present in the neck. Okay. So thyroid basically releases 2, tetraiodothyronine and triiodothyronine. T3 and T4 are the hormones released via thyroid. Okay. TSH is again released by the pituitary. Okay. So T3 and T4 only. Okay. Name the hormone that helps in ejection of the milk.
Mammary gland.
That's a gland. I want an hormone's name.
Progesterone.
No. Progesterone helps in maintaining the pregnancy. Yes, so Karan says oxytocin. That's correct. Name the hormone that helps in synthesis of the breast milk. No? Prolactin. Okay, so prolactin helps in synthesis. Okay. How many vertebrae are present in the body?
33.
33.
33 or 32?
33.
Count.
Cervical 7.
Hmm.
Thoracic.
You had a confusion, or somebody had a nerves that pass through that. Number of nerves. Friends, there are 12 pairs of cranial nerves. C7, 12. 10, 22, 22 plus 5, 27 plus 7, 34. No. Okay. How many cranial nerves? There are 12 pairs of cranial nerves. Okay. And spinal nerves are dash pairs. Okay. Cranial nerves and spinal nerves are always in pairs. Okay. Once you're clear with the vertebrae, you will get a clarity about the nerves which pass through that. Okay. So that's one part. Parts of the brain. It has cerebrum, cerebellum, medulla oblongata, and pons. Cerebrum, cerebellum, medulla oblongata, and pons. I think this should be enough.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay,
Yes, ma'am.
fine. So shall we end the session?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay,
Thank you
then
so much, ma'am.
किसी का भी कोई
Welcome.
क्वेश्चन नहीं है, किसी भी बॉडी सिस्टम से सारे क्वेश्चंस क्लियर हो गए सबके ना? आई थिंक अब मुझे मैं आशा करता हूँ कि एग्जाम में सबके पूरा पूरा मार्क्स आएगा, राइट?
Yes.
Not sure, sir.
नहीं, अब मैम ने देखे आज जितने भी क्वेश्चंस पूछे हैं सारे क्वेश्चंस मैम ने पूछे हैं, आप लोगों की तरफ से किसी की भी तरफ से एक भी क्वेश्चंस नहीं है। इसका मतलब ये शो हो रहा है, पता है कि आप लोगों ने अभी जो मैम ने क्वेश्चंस पूछे उनके आंसर आपने दिए हैं, ठीक है, बट फिर भी कहीं ना कहीं हमने अभी तैयारी में कमी है। और अब मान के चलिए अगले 1 से 2 दिन के अंदर शायद में भी आपका एग्जाम कंडक्ट हो जाएगा।
Okay, sir.
Okay. So
तो
wishing you
एग्जाम के
all the very best for the exams.
आप लोग कितनी देर में दिनों में तैयार हो जाएंगे एग्जाम के लिए? 2 दिन या 3 दिन बताइए, या कितने दिन चाहिए आपको?
सर 3 दिन से
3
ज्यादा।
days. Yes. Yes, sir.
3 दिन?
Yes, sir. 3 days.
Okay, then Wednesday it's okay?
Yes, sir. No problem.
Okay. तो ठीक है, आप वेंसडे को एग्जाम की तैयारी करें। ठीक है?
Thank you, ma'am. Thanks a lot.
Yeah.
Thank you, ma'am.
Welcome. Welcome. Have a good time and wishing you all the very
Thank you,
best
ma'am.
for the so-called exam that you're going to attend. Hope you people don't cheat while attending the Google form. Okay.
Yeah, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Uh-huh.
Ma'am. Thank you,
Yeah.
ma'am.
Thank you. It was nice having a discussion with all of you, interacting
ma'am.
with you guys.
Same here, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Okay, ma'am.